Good afternoon. Just a short talk about some new Peter Pig buildings, September 2024. There are 3 new shanty buildings. They're made of solid resin. There we go. They're for 15mm games. Now, the first one is a very simple, straightforward one. Each one is like a pair of shanty buildings put together. So they're corrugated iron. There we go, a little bit of wood. There's doors, shutters, bits of old stuff lent up against it. These are very detailed models, so reward a nice paint job with a bit of dry brushing. Little smokestacks for chimneys. Notice in shanty towns, for security, most people put their odds and ends on top of the roof. Thereby it's more difficult for people to steal it. And they have limited space, they don't have gardens, etc. That's where they can put it. And here is simple shanty town. The doors, there's the doors, the recessed doors there. This one's actually got a washing line on the end of it with things hung up on it. It's a mud stucco wall with various trousers, skirts and things hung up. That's that one. That's the first building. That's quite a long one, more of an L-shaped one. The second building is this one. This is a very L-shaped one with sort of like a workshop in it. See the double doors there? That's a workshop. It could be 2 shanty buildings put next to each other. Bit of wood propping at the rear end. And once again, on the roof, they've got some cabling, some tyres, ladder for safety and because they don't have gardens and things to put things in. Plenty of doors there. Shanty buildings aren't always very big. There we are. That's the second one. The third one is this one. This one's got some outside seating. This is nice. Maybe it's a hairdresser's or a play school or something like that. More gubbins on the roof. Bits of pipe, steel, planks and the like. There's a little window on that one, little window showing there. This side, there's a few more doors, but a corrugated lent up against the outside, and some outside sit-on things. Now, the idea with these is that they'd probably be done best in maybe a dark brown undercoat, then maybe do a buff colour and dry brush in like a silver where the metal's showing through, because a lot of them would be covered in paint. Now, the 3 together, they could be put in all sorts of positions to make them really crammed up like shanties really are. Shanties don't tend to be very spaced out like that sort of thing. They tend to be up close. So the configurations, you can do lots of configurations with them. Gives you some narrow alleys and stuff like that. There they are. They're new from Peter Pig in September. Now, I'll give you an idea of the size next to them. Here's a 16mm dice. Hold it up next to them. 16mm dice gives you an idea of the height. That's how they work. This one's slightly taller, 16mm dice. So you could use them with 20mm, but they might be a bit short, I'm not sure. Here's figures next to them, some Peter Pig 15mm figures. Give you an idea of size and scale. There they go. Now if I place them down again on the table, there's some figures for AK47 moving through. There's a little armoured car. The reason it's on a pink base, I haven't finished doing the basing effect of that yet, but not to worry, that's an Eland or 90 armoured car. It's got a big gun, tiny body. There is a ZPU-1 anti-aircraft piece. That's for AK-47 as well. And there's another base of chaps there. Anyway, they're lovely little buildings. They ideally suit to dry brushing. This is where you put the base colour on and the lighter colour you put on a nice broad sable brush. You just flick it across when there's almost no paint on the brush at all. You can flick it again and get that highlighted look. I've also got a pair of little planks outside that one as well. There's lots and lots of detail on this. I think there's a little rat on one of these as well crawling out, which is pretty nasty. But corrugated, very nice. And that's them introduced. The next video I'll paint them up and see how that goes again. Lovely. Thank you. Here's a look at the buildings once they're painted. I've chosen some nice bright colours. They stand out on the battlefield. There are 3 buildings. Now what I've done on each one is to dry brush them a little bit in a silver colour, so as the metal showing through. A tan colour in basic, and I've done a few stripes of corrugated iron in yellow and blue, mainly just because it looks quite nice to give the overall tatty appeal. I've used a black Staedtler marker pen to write things on, like the shanty number, and also a sign of what's going on there. So this one's a hair place, this one's a car repair thing, and that's about all there is to them. So mainly dry brushing. Dry brushing is when you get a very little bit of paint and you just flick it across again. The important thing with dry brushing, though, is use a wide sable brush. And I'll show you what I mean. Here's a typical wide sable brush. There we go. This particular one's had an awful lot of use. They're very expensive, so this one could be, I don't know, £12, but it will last you 10, 20 years, no problem at all. Now, as you see, it's very large, but as you wipe it across a building, it distributes the paint very delicately all across. Now, there's a little bit of ink put on these as well, but the idea is the overall War Games table impression, they're not brilliantly painted, but they're good enough for their job. They look quite nice there. I'll put some soldiers amongst them. And there's some troops moving down the narrow alleys. And for some reason, someone set up an ZPU anti-aircraft. They're all Peter Pig figures. These are Peter Pig buildings. There's 3 of them, but each one is a multiple of shanties to give a nice irregular look about them. So you could line them up and make them touch if you want to create a more of a shanty effect, that sort of thing, and step them so that's slightly different frontages, and that gives you the overall shanty appeal. There's a few little bits on these. I think we got a washing line somewhere. Yeah, there's the garage as I was saying about. And this one here is a nice little washing line, very common out there, with a mud stucco wall behind it. And that's them. I think they look very effective. They're good fun for gaming, and they're nice solid pieces. Available from Peter Pig as of middle September 2024. Thanks for having a look. Thank you.